Greetings. I am Dr. Tawana Porter Brannon, President at Thomas Nelson Community College, and I'd like to welcome you back to the Fall 2021 semester. As we prepare together for the next upcoming year, I wish to take this moment to welcome you back for what may seem like a long time since you've been on campus. I'd also like to say thank you to those of you who returned a few months ago, and a special thank you to those of you who never left. It has been almost 1 year since I was selected to serve as your 9th president. I am honored to work with our faculty, staff, and stakeholders to extend Thomas Nelson's legacy of educational excellence, innovation, and strong community partnerships. The start of the year is always a special time on our campuses with new students, faculty, and staff. And after 18 months of remote work, I look forward to seeing activity on campus and listening to the exciting conversations that will surface. We are fortunate to welcome new faculty and staff whose diverse areas of expertise will build upon Thomas Nelson's remarkable dedication to excellence in teaching and student support. I look forward to the rewarding semester ahead and wish to take this opportunity to share with you some updates from our community. As we look ahead and seek to engage with both the opportunities and the challenges facing higher education today, we continue to be dedicated to making investments that strengthen our community, create an environment for our students and faculty to pursue their passions, and position the college for future success. Much has changed over the last year. We are merely a few months away from identifying a new college name. We've updated our college mission and vision. We have a new strategic plan that's focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion, instructional innovation, powerful partnerships, modernized marketing and recruitment, employee investment and development, and transparent and authentic communication. We also have new leadership, and we've done a little reorganization, which includes decoupling workforce development and institutional research and effectiveness from the academic affairs portfolio. We continue to focus on addressing regional talent shortages and preparing the workforce to fill high-demand jobs. We're also focused on the regional's large projects that will need talent, including wind energy, the bridge and tunnel expansion, our shipbuilding, nursing, public health, allied health, cybersecurity, unmanned aircraft systems, also known as drones, the skilled trades, welding, construction, and pipe fitting, just to name a few. You may also be familiar with the Community College Workforce Cooperative, also known as the CCWC, which is a powerful collaboration between Thomas Nelson Community College, Tidewater Community College, and Camp Community College to help regional employees address the talent shortages through our combined resources. We're also piloting programs to increase dual enrollment at high schools throughout the peninsula. Thomas Nelson's Small Unmanned Aircraft Systems program, also known as our drones program, recently became one of only 2 colleges in the VCCS who was approved as part of the Federal Aviation Administration's Unmanned Aircraft Systems Collegiate Training Initiatives. Additionally, our Veterans Affairs teams was selected by Military Times as the community college that is best for vets. Our workforce development team made Thomas Nelson the first VCCS college to partner with Ancora Education, addressing the nationwide shortage of truck drivers, which is having a significant impact on national supply chains. Thomas Nelson's graphic and media design program also ranked 7 in the nation by Best Value Schools for programs in multimedia design. We have lots of good reasons to celebrate. However, we are also facing some real challenges, including the loss of our theater space, the Mary T. Christian Auditorium, the continued impacts of COVID-19, and student enrollment, which will have a direct impact on our budget if enrollment increases are not realized within the next few years. I've been working with the President's Cabinet, the deans, and colleagues throughout the VCCS to address and eliminate barriers to student enrollment. These strategies include creation of a strategic enrollment management plan, revamping our course scheduling process, the Finish Line Initiative, which reconnects and re-enrolls former students, redesigning the messaging we share with students regarding making payments, and the piloting of pre-registration strategies that make it easier for students to get the courses needed to satisfy their degree requirements. This is an exciting time in the life of our college as we engage with both the opportunities and the challenges facing higher education. I am deeply grateful to each of you for your contributions and extraordinary dedication to our students. I am honored to be part of such a remarkable and talented community, and I look forward to the year ahead. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, and take care of one another.
All right, I would like to welcome back our faculty, many of which have been out for much of the summer. Hopefully rejuvenated, and also thank you to those who have been here with us, faculty and staff, throughout the summer. I would like to give a little picture of our year that just ended, financial picture of the year that just ended, June 30th of 21, and then we'll take a little peek at FY22. It is very early in the year. We're 1 month in, so the numbers that we'll be looking at for 22 are kind of round numbers, but they hopefully will be substantially accurate by the end of the year. So if we could just take a look at our FY21 year-end actuals, and you'll see on the revenue side we had revenues in the neighborhood of $41,679,000. Now these numbers appear to be exact, but they're point-in-time numbers. So they were taken June 30th, but as year-end continues on, the numbers will be modified a bit as we go through some year-end adjustments, but they're substantially accurate. On the expense side, we had expenses of $38,399.55. So that's a good scene there. We can see that our revenues are higher than our actuals, expenses, excuse me. On the, taking a closer look, on the revenue side, we had, the way that breaks down, the state portion was around $20.5 million. That number is made up of enrollment numbers as well as our performance metrics for the college. On the tuition side, we had tuition in the neighborhood of $18 million. And then we had some other revenues that came in and around $3 million. That includes some carry forward that we had from FY20. If you'll remember, we had a very nice carry forward at the end of FY20, a good surplus. We did that intentionally just for this very reason, to make sure that we had some contingency as we went into the new year. We purposely had a surplus going out of FY20 so that we would be prepared for any events that might occur in 21, and came in handy. The other portion of that other is made up of some reimbursement that we had for CARES Act expenses that occurred in 20 that we were able to reimburse ourselves for in 21. On the expense side, the breakdown is roughly nearly $28 million in personal services, and then just over $9.5 million in OTPS, or other than personal services, that stands for. And there was some transfers back to the VCCS for certain things that they do for us. You'll see the state loan there also, $1.1 million. We did pay off that loan last year. That loan is now paid in full, and we don't have that amount going forward. But when we look at those two numbers, the 41.6 and the 38.4 almost, you'll see that we had a surplus of just about $3.3 million. That's awesome. That's what we want, is a good surplus at the end of the year. And that will be needed as we go into the coming year. We'll see here in just a second. If we take a closer look at the surplus, we'll see that number of nearly $3.3 million. We did have a few one-time savings and revenues in FY21. One of those savings was our prior year carry forward we just talked about $1.3 million that we carried forward from FY20, that surplus. We also had some reimbursement from some CARES Act money that we were able to reimburse ourselves for. We had some expenses in 20 that we reimbursed ourselves for in 21. Also, our utilities and our cleaning contract had most of our buildings were closed to faculty, staff, and students, the public, for the year, so we saved quite a bit of money in cleaning because we were not cleaning those classrooms and offices every day. We were cleaning them less periodic than daily. So we had a fairly good savings in that area. So when you look at the two numbers together, the $3.9 million of one-time events compared to the 3.3, you'll see that we actually would have had a bit of a deficit had we not had those one-time savings. But that's okay. We planned for that. It worked out as we would have hoped. We had that contingency available to us, and that is what we're supposed to do in budget, is to plan for those events that may occur. Worked out very nicely. So let's look at our FY22 projection real quick. Again, these are going to be round numbers, large round numbers, but hopefully they'll be substantially accurate by year end. We do anticipate state revenues in the neighborhood of $19.7 million. Again, that's made up of our enrollment numbers, which have been dropping a bit, as you know, as well as our performance metrics. On the tuition revenue side, we have revenues of just over 18 million. That is very, very similar to what we had in 21. Stephen Felker and his group are anticipating enrollment to be hopefully pretty much flat, maybe a point or two up, but we would be good at this point at a flat enrollment. That brings us to a total revenue of $37.8 million. We look at the expense side and we see that our personal services is roughly $30 million. That is a larger number than you saw at the end of FY21. That's for a couple reasons. One is that we had the 5% salary increase that we're all enjoying, and we also had some benefit increases, some increases to the cost of our health benefits and others, as well as we've been holding a number of positions vacant. There were some positions that were just vital to fill. Those positions have been in process for some time, and as they are being filled, that will add to our personal services number. We've held a number of positions. We continue to hold a number of positions vacant where we can, but there were some that just absolutely had to be filled, and as those are being filled, it's going to add to our personal services number. On the OTPS side, we're looking at a similar number to last year, roughly $9.5 million, brings the total expenses to $39.5 million. As we compare the two, the FY22 revenue compared to our anticipated FY22 expenses, it doesn't look pretty. We can see that the revenue is a fair amount less than the expenses. This would require, in order for our revenue to meet those expenses, would require roughly a 9% increase in enrollment. We don't anticipate that happening, but that's what it would take to have our revenues match our expenses for this year. Enrollment is going to be everybody's job. Enrollment is the key to getting our budget back in line, back in shape with equal revenues and expenses. Getting that number up on the revenue side to roughly $39.5 million, as I stated, it's going to require that enrollment increase. We don't anticipate it, so we do have, as I stated before, contingency in place. That contingency would be the surplus that we just looked at from the end of FY21. That's roughly $3 million. We hope to get all of that back from the state. Not necessarily guaranteed, but we hope to get all of that back from the state. We also have some additional CARES Act monies that we'll be able to reimburse ourselves for. The new ARP funding is a little bit different than the original CARES Act funding. It allows us to pay ourselves back for some things that CARES money didn't allow us to do. So we'll have some increase in revenue in that area. If this comes to fruition, our total revenue will be in the neighborhood of $42.5 million. That might be a little bit rosy of a number. It may not come out to be that large, but you can see the difference between 42.5 and 39.5, roughly $3 million. Even if it's a little bit lower, I anticipate us being in fair shape for the current year. But we cannot build a budget on one-time revenues. We have to get our revenue back in line with our expenses. The revenues that we are looking at for the current year, not sufficient. If we get that enrollment back up, we'll be back in shape. This $5 million contingency that we're showing will give us the time throughout this year to bring that enrollment back up as we move into next year. By next year, again, we'll hopefully have some surplus to carry into the next year, but we can't count on it. And even more so, we never ever want to build a budget based on one-time revenues. So in the end, we are looking okay for this year. I think we'll be in fair shape. We won't be required to do any major adjustments throughout the year, I don't think. But again, enrollment will be the key, and by next year, we'll have to have that enrollment number back up. I appreciate you all spending time with me today. Again, want to thank faculty for as they come back onto campus. And again, thank those that have been here with us throughout the summer, both faculty and staff. Thank you very much, and I'm available for questions. If anybody has questions, wants to email them to me, I'll be happy to answer those questions.
Hello everyone, I'm Stephen Felker, Director of Institutional Research and Effectiveness here at Thomas Nelson, and it's my pleasure to welcome you back for the fall 2021 semester and to share with you our exciting new strategic plan for 2021 through 2024. As we began work on our new strategic plan, there were a few major areas that we wanted to make sure we emphasized and that we made sure made it into our final plan. Among those were an alignment with the VCCS's new strategic plan, Opportunity 2027, and really the emphasis within that plan on diversity, equity, and inclusion. We also wanted to make sure that our new strategic plan really addressed the areas that matter to our students, faculty, staff, and community. And so we spent a lot of time really listening and hearing from different groups and making sure that we were hearing the same things in terms of where we needed to put our emphasis and where we needed to work to improve as an institution. We also found that we really wanted this to be a shorter plan. So plans in the past have been traditionally 4 to 6 years long, and sometimes that doesn't allow us to quickly adapt and make sure that we're addressing the most important opportunities of our time. So we've adjusted and are really looking for a 3-year duration for this plan that allows us to focus in over a short period of time and make significant impacts. We also, of course, with our strategic plan, want to make sure that we're in a good position to know if we're being impactful and successful through our work. And so we've really done some initial work to make sure that we have good measures in place and that we're prepared to use data throughout the process to know how we're doing and where we need to adjust and improve. A major component of the strategic planning process is always looking back at our mission statement, our vision statement, and our core values to make sure that they align with where we are now as an institution and what our priorities and those of our community are. When we did this work for our new strategic plan, we looked back and we really thought about our mission statement and identified some opportunities to make it shorter, clearer, and speak more clearly to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so we've gone ahead and revised our mission statement to read, "We change lives and transform our community through diverse, inclusive, and equitable education and workforce training, excellent support and services, and innovative partnerships." We also looked back at our vision statement and saw opportunity for improvement and change. We felt like there were more opportunities within the vision statement to really speak about the end impact that we want for our students and community, and to again emphasize diversity, equity, and inclusion. So our new vision statement reads, "To provide broad and equitable access to higher education and workforce training that empowers our community to thrive and grow." As part of the strategic planning process, we also looked back at our core value statements and really reaffirmed these as ones that are first and foremost for the college and important for us moving forward. So we've retained our core values of students first, educational excellence, community responsiveness, integrity, diversity, and mutual respect and shared governance. For the new strategic plan itself, we've identified 6 major goal areas. So the first of those is one around diversity, equity, and inclusion, having it both as its own standalone goal with some specific areas that we want to work on as a college, but also making sure that we infused it throughout each of our other goals, and we're very intentional about how we address diversity, equity, and inclusion through those efforts. So the 5 other goal areas are instructional innovation, powerful partnerships, modernized marketing and recruitment, transparent and authentic communication, and employee investment and development. And so to give you a sense of where we see ourselves changing and improving in those areas, we really, through instructional innovation, want to focus on being innovative, but in a way that produces high impact, personalized, and accessible education and training opportunities for all of our community and all of our students. Through powerful partnerships, we really want to look at creating and sustaining more engaged partnerships, ones that generate clear and demonstrable benefits for our students and community. As we look at modernized marketing and recruitment, we really want to elevate our marketing and communication strategies, focus on student recruitment in ways that really look at increasing community awareness and making sure that we're able to fully reach and support all of our communities and residents through our support and services. We also want to make sure through employee investment and development that we're fully investing in our people and giving them the ability and resources to serve our students well and to help our community thrive. This really means focusing on personal enrichment, professional growth, and continual learning for our employees and all who are part of our community. In terms of authentic and transparent communication, we really see this as being closely connected to the ideas of shared governance and inclusive decision making, and looking for ways to improve the way that we arrive at decisions as a college, engage in conversation and dialogue, and receive feedback and input into everything we do and the important decisions we make for our community and our students. And then, of course, we want to make sure, as mentioned, that as we're doing this work, we're really keeping an eye on and making sure that everything that we're working on is being handled and addressed in a way that is fair, accessible, inclusive, and equitable. Just a few examples of where we've infused diversity, equity, and inclusion emphasis throughout the plan. So as we're thinking about instructional innovation and a lot of the different ways that we better serve students and help them to be successful in their studies and in their programs, we've emphasized or added an emphasis on equity and student outcomes. So really this means recognizing that there are considerable disparities that exist in student enrollment, retention, and completion rates among different populations and student groups at the college, and being intentional about how we work to reduce and eliminate those equity gaps. We've also really emphasized inclusiveness in decision making through our shared governance systems, strengthening those and making sure that we really engage in important conversations in and around all of our decision making processes at the college. We've also emphasized diversity in our partnerships. So really thinking about where we want to partner and how we align with other organizations and their values and how we bring greater diversity into the partnerships that we have across the Virginia Peninsula. So these are really the major areas that we've identified for ourselves that we want to work on and we feel like will position the college for a successful future. This is really the start of this work. We now have a plan that's been adopted and accepted by our college board, a plan that is now in the process of being published and rolled out more completely to the college community and beyond. But that's really the beginning of the work, right? There's a number of next steps that we need to do to position ourselves for success as we move forward with this plan, and a few of those are listed here. So of course, we need to do that work of branding the new plan, giving it a new name that we can look to and speak to as we address the plan over the next 3 years, and really making sure that it's available to everyone and emphasized across our campuses and online in all of our different materials. We also have already begun work on making sure that we assign responsibilities for the different areas of the strategic plan, looking at the different strategic objectives and strategies that we've identified for pursuing these 6 goals, making sure that they have responsible parties assigned to them, and that we've done the work of seeing where we need to put priority and emphasis on year 1 of the strategic plan. So how we really get off to a strong start and make sure we do the foundational work to be successful in these areas. We need to do a little bit more work on our success indicators, our measures that we'll be using throughout the plan, and make sure that we're in a good position to publish this information regularly and have an online dashboard that will make this information transparent and accessible. We're planning very soon to bring back together our Champions Committee, which is an extension of our Strategic Planning Core Committee that's been working throughout this process, provide them with their charge, and really engage them with helping us promote and move forward our strategic plan and our year 1 efforts. We'll also be working across the college and working with each of the different units and offices across the college to see how they fit into this strategic plan and where they put their emphasis in terms of contributing to it and advancing their own units and operations. Ultimately, we'll move into a system where we'll report quarterly on our progress toward achievement of the new strategic plan and reflect and think about how we improved and do better as we move forward in its implementation. As I close out today, I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who's been involved in this process of strategic planning. Strategic planning is one of those processes that's strongest when it has broad, diverse, inclusive representation in its work. And I think we were successful in doing that throughout this strategic plan. We had so many people engaged in our different strategic planning subcommittees, in our strategic planning work sessions and community forums that we've held over the last year. And we had just an amazing group of people in our strategic planning core committee representing all of the major different constituencies and groups across the college who really drove this process forward and contributed so much to the strategic plan that we have in front of us now. We also had amazing support staff and, of course, a really supportive and amazing college board that emphasized the importance of everything that we've spoken to in this strategic plan and is incredibly supportive of us moving forward and being successful in these areas. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to share this with you all and look forward to engaging with you more as we roll the strategic plan out more completely and start looking at ways that we all can support this work and make it advance into the future. Thank you all so much. I appreciate your time.
Greetings to all on behalf of the Campus Police Department and myself. As we come back this fall of 2021, I would like to ask and remind those who have not done so yet to sign up for Omni Alert text notifications. You can sign up by going to the tncc.edu/safety page, then click the Omni Alert text notification button and sign up. Also, while on the page, you can obtain some campus police phone numbers, view our annual crime report, obtain some safety tips, and gain access to our safety information and resources such as the Emergency Action Plan 12.2 and some great videos. So again, I say welcome back.